we there yet? Gotta go. Are we there yet? How about now?
No.
I feel like I need to pinch myself because I have been trying so hard for months on this channel to say we need to get out of the studio, we need to go see stones at the source, we need to go on a gem venture, and it's finally happening. I think when they said, hey Natalie, you're going to Colorado, I think I may have jumped out of my seat. Look how beautiful this is. Look at those greens. The green of these pine trees reminds me of chrome diopside, maybe a peridot here and there. So right now, we went back to the hotel, I changed. Brian told me it's about 48 degrees in the mine, so I put on some fancy boots and a nice warm flannel, and we're on our way up there. So Denver is the mile-high city, and the mine is about 11,400. We're driving about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we're gaining 6,000 feet in elevation, and it's really funny because my ears have actually started popping. I didn't think that my ears would be popping this much. So once we get there, we'll be able to, have these beautiful views of Colorado, and we'll head on into the mine. Before I left, Brian gave me this awesome magazine, and it's all about the Sweet Home Mine, all about Rhodochrosite. So I've been reading this on the drive up there so I can learn a little bit more about what goes on in the mining areas here. And the more I read, the more excited I get. I really couldn't think of another place I'd rather be today than in Colorado on my way to a gemstone mine. I mean, life doesn't get any better than this. So we've already covered rhodochrosite on a previous unboxing, so why don't you go ahead and check that out to get the background of the stone and learn more about the interesting properties that make rhodochrosite so cool. Today we're going to focus more on mining these specific pockets, how you get gemstones out of the ground, and how fascinating the mined market is. Please tell me they're stopping to go to the bathroom.
No, there's just a truck.
I like Colorado, where we're driving right now. This reminds me of Nebraska, which is my home state. Great state. And the cows, the flat land, the big old sky. I think the sky is bigger in the Midwest than in Tennessee. It's fun being out here. Gemstones, I get to, be in the part of country that I've grown up in. It's fun being out here. Oh, do we get a bathroom stop? You know what? I bet it's real dark out here at night. Okay, come on, please, someone. I wonder if we'll see bears and moose. We have M&Ms. Good gemologist who goes into mines needs M&Ms and Gatorade for energy and hydration. Hey everyone, we finally made it to Alma, Colorado. I am so thrilled. It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now we're gonna drive up to the mine. I have plenty of energy. I had a big old bag of M&Ms and some Gatorades. Let's do this. Is that the cop? So Alma is absolutely adorable. It's really cute, picturesque. It has the beautiful background of the mountains. Right now we're on this very small gravel road. This is definitely not a paved road. I feel like I'm, in an Indiana Jones movie. We don't know where we're going. It's bumpy. It's cool. It's definitely an adventure. The best adventures are the ones that end with gemstones. Am I right? Yeah, my lunch feels a little scrambled right now. I feel like we're in this untouched frontier off to a mine. It's just such a cool feeling. The sense of adventure that Brian must have, prospecting for these gemstones. It is such an exciting opportunity to be a part of this. And really, I would much rather be on this bumpy, dirty road than sitting in an office. I have major hat hair. All right, guys, so I have orange jacket. This is so I am easily visible in the mine. I have this nifty belt with a self-rescuer on it. Got my hard hat, my light. Backpack is full. I feel warm and ready to jump in this mine. All right, we're finally here, and Brian is here. We are gonna start our tour. Brian, are you excited for this tour? Because I know I sure am.
I'm super excited. Actually, you are the very first official tour of the new Detroit City mine.
Are you serious?
You're the first.
That is so cool. So you mentioned Detroit City.
Yes,
I've called it Sweet Home. Tell us what the different naming is all about.
Well, the Sweet Home mine comprises 20 different claims.
Okay.
And the Sweet Home claim itself is only one of them.
Okay.
And the Detroit City claim is another one.
Okay.
And this particular portal that you see has been put in on the Detroit Detroit City claim. So we call it the Detroit City Mine.
The product is just as fantastic as what's coming out of the other claim, yes?
It will be. It's on the same veins. It's the Sweet Home group. It'll be still called Sweet Home.
So that beautiful color and those cool ROMs that we know and we've fallen in love with could be coming out of this mine soon.
We sure hope so.
Can we jump on in?
Let's go in.
Let's do this. It's chilly though in here.
It's very chilly. It's in the high 40s here.
Wow.
We get about a 25-degree temperature drop from where we just were to here.
It was crazy, yeah. I can feel it immediately.
And then the temperature remains constant. So when you're working hard back here, it's perfect working temperature.
Yeah, it is. All right, Brian, so I see a lot. I see some lights here. What are these other tubes? Can you tell me a little about what's going on here?
Well, the most important tube is the one over our head.
Okay.
This brings fresh air in from the surface.
Okay.
Pushes it to the back of the mine.
Got it.
And then exhausts all the bad air, if there is any. So it gives us a constant supply of perfect fresh air.
You know, the air does feel very fresh down here. So this stuff right here.
So these are other critical components of a mine.
Okay.
This is a compressed air line.
Okay.
So from this line we can run our drills, all of our drilling equipment. And then we have another line here. I believe this is a water line. We just put this one in, and then on the other side, one of our most important lines are the electrical lines. This is the electricity that runs our various electrical devices in the back of the mine. And the reason the tunnel is so tall is this bag's 3 feet in diameter, so we had to cut a high tunnel so that we could drive underneath of it. So we have a tunnel that's 11 feet wide and 11 feet tall. It's a giant tunnel.
I'm 5'5", so if you can look at my wingspan, about 5'5", my height about 5'5". Brian's much taller than I am, and you can see we have so much space. I don't feel like I'm in a tiny mine. I feel like I may be just in a really cold, dark, wet movie theater.
So Natalie, we're in a pretty short mine. The whole tunnel is only about 500 feet long.
Okay.
We're in about 250 right now. But we got about 250 to go to get to the back. And the reason we put this tunnel in was so that we could intersect a series of target veins, so where we know down lower, where we had our old mine, where we knew the rhodo would come back up through. So we're hoping to intersect veins that continue up through the mountain from where we work down below. And we're about 200 feet above elevation-wise from where we work below, and about 500 or 600 feet into the mountain further than where we were. So spatially, we're very, very close to where we worked before, just above it.
How much earth is above me?
When we get to the back, another 200 feet in, we'll have about 400 or 500 feet of earth above us.
Wow.
Because the mountain, we go in and the mountain steepens quickly.
Okay.
We started the tunnel in June of last year. We actually started the foundation work for the tunnel in late 2016. So it's taken us a couple of years to develop the tunnel, get all the infrastructure in here, all the air and water lines that we just talked about, and electricity. We're just now on the targets, and we could hit a rhodo pocket any day.
Like today?
We could hit a pocket today.
That is so cool. I'm crossing my fingers. How cool would that be to see, something that hasn't been seen in, 33 million years, you said last night?
The crystals are about 33 million years old. So if we find something, you're the first person to see that in 33 million years.
That is fantastic. Brian, what is this big old piece of machinery right here? And can I jump on into the bucket?
You can definitely jump on it as hard as you want. You can never hurt this thing. This is called a LHD, load, haul, dump, LHD, Mine Tech. It's a 3-yard scoop. So when we drill and we blast rock, we can go and pick it up and move it from the side of the blast to outside of the mine. And this is a real workhorse. Without it, we couldn't possibly do any mining.
This thing will go full 500 feet, and this really saves you a lot of manpower.
Yeah, can you imagine hauling it out in buckets?
No,
or
I couldn't imagine.
In the old days, 150 years ago, down in the lower mine, there was tracks in there, and they had those, the ore cars we saw?
Yes,
those old-fashioned ore cars?
Cool.
They pushed them out by hand, in and out of the mine every day, and one of those cars would only hold about 1,000 pounds of rock. But this bucket right here will pick up 6,000 pounds at a scoop.
Wow.
So you can imagine the efficiency.
So you mentioned 6,000 pounds of rock was coming out. What kind of host rock? Because I assume that's not 6,000 pounds of rhodochrosite.
No, I wish it was.
Yeah, me too.
So rhodo is very rare. Sometimes we go a whole year without finding a pocket.
Wow.
At least we used to. We're hoping it's more frequent now. But when we're mining in something that's similar to a granite. Everybody knows what granite is. When you put granite under intense pressure, or you take sedimentary rocks, you get something called a gneiss. So it's kind of like granite, but it's been altered into something called a gneiss.
Cool.
And all the veins and all the host rock are in this huge, gigantic body of granite gneiss.
Okay, so the LHD takes all that host rock, and then does it just drop it out at the end of the mine or the mouth of the mine, and then where does it go?
Well, what we do with the rock is we crush it and we repurpose it. So it can be used for all kinds of cool things. It can be used for road base. We make flat spots so we can park more equipment. We actually don't produce that much rock. It's a very small mine. After we got this main tunnel done, actually our rock production just goes down to a crawl because we're actually, with our mining techniques, able to leave most of the rock underground. So we've talked about the host rock a little bit.
Right.
Let's go back and look at the vein and how it interacts with the host rock.
Wow, that's really dark.
We are just about to the target that we worked all these years for. What this tunnel is a cross-cutting tunnel. The word cross-cut is to describe the idea of cutting across the vein. So if you know the veins in front of you,
yeah, so you try to meet the vein.
You try to meet the vein. You cut across it. So this is a cross-cut. We intersected the vein, and now we're right on it. We're at the side of the vein right here. And
wow,
I know it's
so you could be a foot away from a pocket.
Yep.
That is fantastic. Hey guys.
All right, how are you doing?
Say hello to YouTube. This is our fantastic miners. They spend, how many hours a week do you guys think you spend underground?
50.
50? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's an adventure every day. A little way after today, when we blast, there might be a pocket back there. What else would you want
What
to do
is
with
that
your life?
back there? Oh, that's not rhodochrosite. That's...
No, those are around that we're ready to shoot.
So how exciting is it that you guys could be within a foot of the next major pocket? Can you tell me a little bit about, going to work?
Get up in the morning.
Okay.
Because there might be a pocket.
So do you have that excitement every single day?
Every day we come here because we might find a pocket.
You've found a pocket before here.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what that feels like when you crack open that beautiful stone.
When you first find the pocket, it's usually 6 or 7 feet back in the face. It's not like it's laying, like spilling out like the cornucopia. It's a little bitty hole.
Okay.
And you look in there and you can see, and maybe this is it. And gradually, as you're working on it, it gets bigger and bigger, and then you can see something in there that's wondrous. And you're like, wow, I'm the first person in 20 million years. Well, there haven't been people for 20 million. I got to see it.
I can't even imagine the excitement.
That's why I've been doing this for 37 years now.
And every day it's
Every day.
it's we've talked about this before on the channel. This business kind of draws the treasure hunters and those that want adventure. And, firsthand experience, 37 years, getting up to try to find that treasure. It's pretty exciting.
Yep. And this is the best place on the planet to do it. From Tasmania to Fairbanks. I wouldn't want to be anyplace else.
What makes it the best?
Rhodochrosite.
Rhodochrosite.
It's the red treasure, right?
It is. It is.
Aptly named.
And we're just lucky to have the spot in the world that makes the best and produces or has produced the best in the past.
Brian, tell us a little about the geology. How do you know where to dig? I mean, you could be 6 or 8 feet, in the wrong direction. Tell me a little bit about what goes into prospecting these stones.
Well, many years ago, going back 25 years,
Yeah.
even back into 1990, we started doing geology work on this hill, on this mountain that we're inside. We were lucky we had an old tunnel down there, old series of tunnels called the original Sweet Home Mine. So that was our testing ground. We worked for years in there, moving rock and understanding how the veins relate to the pockets. It took a long time to figure out, okay, this vein is good, this vein isn't. And over time, we got a database of the right veins to use, and we came up with some geochemical techniques to determine which veins had the right juices. And we learned all that 200 feet below us.
Wow.
So we took that knowledge, and after we closed the mine 14 years ago, we expanded on that knowledge. We never stopped studying the hill. And over time, we built a new geological model based on what we could see above and what we could attach from below. And by building this 3D model, we were able to determine that this vein still continued and existed and moved up through the mountain. So with that survey data, with all that information, we were able to design the mine. We did the engineering work, so we knew where to put the tunnel in, and we just walked in, and we knew about where we were going to hit this vein. And we hit this vein within 7 feet of where we predicted it would be. So the only thing, of course, we can't predict is where the pockets are. So once we're on this vein, and we know we're on the right kind of vein, it's like Graham said, it's every day. Drill, blast, and when we're drilling, by the way, that's an important thing we haven't talked about. How do you not blow them up?
In the past, when I've looked at specimens, they come out and they look so beautiful and perfect. I couldn't imagine just, chiseling or blasting or drilling. How do you mitigate that risk?
So what we do when we know we're on the vein, we're drilling and blasting along this vein, before we set an explosion off, the miners carefully probe the vein with their drills. So they drill 6, 7, 8 feet in on the vein. Now, let's describe what a vein is. A vein is like a thick sheet of paper, from an inch wide up to a few inches wide. So they're very skinny, but they're planar. So you drill along the plane of the vein, and if the drill leaps or jumps, you hit a void. That's when you have to stop and slow down. That's how we find them. So if we hit something, then we back off. we'll drill a bigger hole so we can see inside it. And if we determine there's crystals inside, we can't blast. So then we bring in a whole new set of equipment. We have to use something called a hydraulic splitting machine. So we have to drill holes and break the rock with a hydraulic splitter. And when we get close to the pocket, then we can actually saw. We have a diamond chainsaw, so we can go in and start sawing the pocket out. So the process of collecting a pocket, even after we find it, could take 1 or 2 weeks. But sometimes we slow down and we get there and we realize, you know, the pocket looked really good in the hole, but it was only the size of a hole. So then we have to start over. We'll drill and blast and start the cycle again.
What's the purpose of blasting?
So you have to blast a rock so that you create the tunnel. So the tunnel's created through blasting. The tunnel that we're driving here now is on the vein. Here we're going to show a shot of the vein going right through the front of the face of the tunnel.
Wow.
So it propagates the tunnel as we drill and explore the vein.
Right there, I see kind of, it looks like a line. What is that?
Rhodochrosite right there. It's kind of
No. Oh my gosh, wow. That is so cool, that piece. No one has 33 million years, and the only people who have seen that red crystal are the people that have been in this mine. And ladies and gentlemen, we are the first tour. So for me to see this crystal as a gemologist, I've always loved rhodochrosite. I mean, I can't keep my, that is so cool.
People have misconceptions about veins. They think there's these big, wide things. You can see the vein's only a few inches wide, and it goes down to a couple inches. And most of the vein is actually made of quartz.
Okay.
Because the fluids that create the rhodochrosite are full of silicates.
It's hydrothermal, right?
It's hydrothermal, so it's loaded with quartz. So that it's actually really, really hard rock around these veins, and it's mostly quartz.
Wow, oh my gosh. Does that mean you're gonna drill up, or what?
We will eventually drill up there to make sure there's no pockets there. You can see the vein right here. You can see there's a vein boundary. The vein right there is about 8-10 inches wide.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
you can see right there, it comes across, gets a little wider, and right there, it goes to just a couple inches.
So that's where you'll be blasting next.
Yeah, and we've saved some of the loading so people can actually see how we load explosives in the holes. And that's something, like Brian said, most people have this vision of this giant thing, and here it is, it's 1 inch wide.
For instance, a big pocket, when we hit one, might be 2 inches wide and 16 inches in diameter. It's a very small cavity with crystals lined on it. So the pockets we hit are extremely hard to find. They're extremely soft and brittle, and very little material usually comes out of them, but it doesn't matter because the quality is so good, it works.
You know what shocks me is that you could literally stick a drill 2 inches in and you could hit something.
Yeah, 2 inches on the vein. So the vein goes up.
So cool.
So we could sit here today with the drill and punch holes in there and possibly hit a pocket. The
You're not gonna do that today, are you?
Not in this area, but we are in a really cool area over here.
Okay.
And we may see something really interesting back
Can we
here.
go?
Let's go in there.
Whoa! Oh my gosh!
So that's what we're looking
there
for.
It is! And you're right, that's a tiny little pocket.
Tiny little pocket.
That is so, oh my gosh, look at that. Look how bright that, it's not just pink, it's red, I can see that. Okay, so tell me, when you find these pockets, you said they could, be just as small as 1 inch. Are the crystals like that, or are they just kind of surrounding the pocket? I mean, how do you pull it out, and what does it look like when it comes out?
Well, imagine a flattened Easter egg
Okay.
with the crystals on the inside of the Easter egg pointing at each other, filling the void.
That's what
Just
I
like
thought.
a little geode, a flat geode. And they're very, very small. If that was open, that'd be a very valuable pocket of crystals.
Why is that?
Because it doesn't take much open space to make great crystals. When you get open space, you get these cherry red rhombs of rhodo.
Okay, so I see a lot of pyrite here. Are you looking for the pyrite? Is that kind of like an indicator material?
No, it sometimes comes along for the ride and you get more or less of that. Right here you can see a little bit of it and it carries with the rhodos. When you pull the specimens out, sometimes there's some pyrite, but right under the pyrite, see all that quartz I was talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Most of the vein is made up of silicified quartz with these little stringers that have the rhodo in them. And then once in a while you get the pyrite.
I just want to go up there and touch it.
A
There's some
nodular.
nice crystals in there too.
Yep, you could go up in there and probably collect one if you wanted to, if we had a little ladder.
Touching rhodochrosite, never been out of the mine. Wow. You know what's so cool is, like, we talked about the rhombohedric crystals. I can see them right here. The crystal with my light, it looks clean, it looks clear. That beautiful pink color. I mean, this is fantastic. I can't believe I'm touching it. This is 33 million years old, and I'm touching it. Never been out of the ground before. All right, give me some advice. What do I do here? You guys are the experts. I don't want to scratch. Oh, I want that piece right there. Here we go. Oh my gosh, I did it.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did.
You got a souvenir.
Look at that. Pink color, slightly red. You can see some of the crystal faces. These aren't the perfect ROMs that we've shown you before, but you can still, there's without a doubt rhodochrosite crystal in my hand. All right, I'm officially a miner. I've got the dirty boots, and the gemstones to prove it.
Well, Natalie, I'm going to show you one more thing before we go out. We've got about a 100-foot walk, and what we're going to show you is how we load. You're talking about moving the rock.
Right.
I'm going to show you what we call loading a blast. We've got a few more holes to load. We're going to stand at a safe distance back, and you're going to watch visually the process of how we put the explosive compounds in the holes.
The explosives that we use, this is ammonium nitrate. It's basically fertilizer, and they add a little bit of diesel fuel. There's about 2 quarts of diesel fuel in a 50-pound bag of this. We call one advance, we call it a round. Every round has 300 pounds in it. The rock here is really hard. Any less than that, we come back and it hasn't all moved, and it's a real difficult thing to fix. So like Brian was saying earlier, over time we've developed a system where we know exactly where the holes have to be, so that when we come back, the tunnel's smooth and looks like what you see here, and we don't have a lot to clean up. If it goes wrong, we can waste a half a shift fixing what didn't work because we misplaced one hole. It's actually very precision how it has to be done. The Prell itself is like beanbag beans. Yeah. And so the guys have a pneumatic loader there, and they actually squirt it in.
Brian, that was so cool. Thank you so much for taking me in this tour. I really hope you guys, find a pocket soon. I'm crossing my fingers.
Well, me too. Maybe we'll hit one today. Let's go outside in a safe distance, watch the detonation.
Let's do it. That sounds awesome.
All
yes.
right.
That's really bright. There's sunlight now. I'm not underground. I remember on another episode, I was talking with Alan Hart, and we talked about how when you walk out of a mine, the sun, it doesn't seem brighter. And my eyes, I feel like I need to adjust it right now. And I just think it's so fascinating that you have miners, they spend 50 hours a week underground, and they don't have the sunshine, and it's cold, and it's damp, and it's dark. And I just have so much more respect for how hard it is to get, rhodochrosite out of the ground. You're not just struggling to find the vein and to find the pockets. The whole aspect of going in and pulling out the stones and figuring out where to blast. It's a whole science. It's engineering. I mean, so much thought, so much effort goes into pulling gemstones out of the ground. And, every single time I walk into a mine, I come out and I have, a huge amount more appreciation for gemstones and jewelry and how fortunate we are to have all of this. All right, guys, Graham, I was just in the mine with Graham. He's the project manager, really knowledgeable, knows his stuff. So tell me what I have in my hand right here.
This is a section of the vein. You can see where the fault was moving right here. It's smooth.
Yeah.
And there's actually some lines in it from the direction of the rock. This side is a little broken. But when she was in the mine a little bit ago, we were pointing to the vein in the ceiling and in the wall. This is a piece that fell out in a blast. Here you can see the rhodochrosite vein, you can see the fluorite, there's a little pyrite.
Pyrite, wow, look at all the colors. It's, kind of the pinkish red, the purple, and the gold. Not gold, but fool's gold.
There's some galena, which is a lead mineral.
Okay.
There's some sphalerite, there's a whole host of minerals.
Sphalerite?
Sphalerite, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we got sphalerite.
I had no clue, everyone. So sphalerite, we've talked a lot about JTV, Spanish sphalerite. I had absolutely no clue that was in Colorado. So Graham, thank you. I learned something every day in this business, and we have sphalerite here. That's pretty cool.
This makes everything better. So there's a little piece of pocket, there's a chalcopyrite, and those little black spots are sphalerites.
Wow. Got that purple right there, that's fluorite. Fool's gold, pyrite, we've talked about that plenty on the channel, and you've got these veins right here of rhodochrosite. I've always loved that pinkish kind of red hue right there. Beautiful. This is so cool. All right, guys, so Brian and his team just hooked up the mine. We're gonna blast, so in about T-minus 60 seconds, it's gonna be a lot of noise, and a lot of dust. So I'm kind of nervous. I don't really like loud noises. Oh my God. My God, my heart. Did anyone else jump like I did? That was really loud.
In Tennessee, they'd shoot 1,500 to 2,000 pounds in a round.
What was that?
That was 600.
That freaked me out.
So he's shutting the door now, and he's gonna turn the fan on. The guys will go in, they'll wet down, make sure everything went off, and then we'll go back inside.
All right, guys, so the dust has settled, the blast is over, they've rinsed out the mine. Now we're gonna follow some miners and Brian back into the mine and see if they maybe hit the big pocket, or maybe there's some crystals. We don't really know what to expect, but I'm gonna catch up. Let's do this. I was so excited earlier when we actually found that little vein, and I was able to use a wrench and pull some stones out. I actually have them in my front pocket right here. Maybe now we'll see a big crystal, or we'll see something that could be a specimen in the future. You never know what you're gonna find. It's always an adventure. I feel like I'm a treasure hunter today, and You know, like I'm in the Wild West, so it doesn't get better than this. That's so cool. Right here you can see there's a big old thing of rocks. This is where they blasted earlier. What I'm looking for right now is maybe, you know, you saw the red dots, you know, maybe there's some of the rock that has the red. I don't see any stones from where I am right now, but who knows, I could be surprised. All right, guys, so I'm like maybe 15, 20 feet away from where the blast actually happened, and I'm really excited because I see some red right here, and what's so cool about this is this thing probably flew like 15 feet. And you can see the area where they drilled in and they put the explosive device. And if you remember, they had that kind of red paint to mark where the explosive were. And you can see that right here, which I just think is so cool. This is a really heavy rock and it came all the way out here. So let's jump on further in. All right, Brian.
Okay, so
what's the verdict?
The verdict is we didn't find the big one today.
I'm sure that happens a lot. Statistically, you're probably not likely to find a big pocket every day, especially when we're here.
Well, statistically, actually, in the old days, if we hit a pocket 1 in 100 days, it was a good day.
Wow, that's
so you go through
fantastic.
lots and lots of days of this process before you hit. But we did find a little tiny pocket.
Where?
And when we go, if we want to walk up to the face, it's
yeah,
safe
I'd love
here
to.
now.
I'll follow you.
Watch your step on these rocks.
Okay.
You can see.
Okay, so I see a vein right here.
Yep, and right there is a pocket.
Wow, look at that. That is so cool. Guys, 33 million years. No one's ever seen that crystal, and I can tell you right now, I like that color.
We didn't talk before about the most beautiful combinations.
Right.
It's when you get the red crystals with the
purple
fluoride.
So
That
this is the
combination together.
vein right here. Are you gonna keep mining this?
We'll keep moving forward on this.
Okay.
And we'll set up and we'll probe drill this. If there's no pockets, we'll drill it and shoot it again. There's crystal rhodo all the way up and down that vein.
You could be 2 inches away from a big old beautiful crystal.
Yep,
That is
absolutely.
so cool. That is so exciting. I'm so happy Brian allowed us to be here today and I was able to be a part of mining and to see these cool pockets. And frankly, I'm a little distracted right now because I just want to find more.
So much to look at.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say about miners. They're always a foot away from $1 million. So every morning you get up, you do it again, and you just
Cross your fingers.
crazy excited about
Foot
what
away
you're
from
going
$1
to find.
million. In my gemology career, this is probably one of the most exciting experiences I've had. I feel so fortunate to be here, and Brian let us in his mine, and we were able to be here for a blast. I've never seen a blast before, so Brian, thank you so much. This is so cool.
You are very welcome, and
I'm
very, very happy to share this with you guys.
Brian, you had a good day today?
Had a great day.
I had a blast.
Oh,
Pun
okay.
intended. All right, this was such a wonderful adventure. We are gonna wrap up here at the mine. I need to wash my jeans and head back to Knoxville. First impression is I have some major helmet hair. Second impression, that was a long, very exciting, fun day. I felt like I was in an Indiana Jones movie. You know, there was this sense of adventure today and a treasure hunt. I was crossing my fingers the whole day that pocket would, you know, unearth the next big, beautiful crystal. And I've learned in the past how tough mining is, but, you know, spending the whole day there, and I really have a lot more respect for what it takes to get a stone from mine to market. And I don't think miners get enough credit for what they do. Big thank you to you for watching this show and commenting that you wanted me to get out of the studio and go somewhere new. It was because of your likes and subscribes that we were able to make this trip happen. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you comment below and let us know the next place that you want to see this show go.